It's our town for WTBQ and WGHT Radio. It is so cold outside that it feels like Nebrasky.
It feels like Nebrasky or Nebraska.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Oh, Nebrasky. Paul Nebrasky.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's with us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody?
We're good. We only got a little bit of snow this morning.
Yeah, so it's not bad. I mean, we're not getting snow till what, tomorrow, Saturday?
Tomorrow.
And every other day.
It's shorts weather, though.
Yeah,
we're good.
It's shorts weather if you're, and it's almost 20 degrees outside. What more do you want? So
I'm flying blind this morning, guys. With the streaming that up this morning, who's in the studio this morning?
I know. It's the streaming company. It's not us. Our streaming is working just fine. We've been trying to reach out to the streaming company because
it happens.
We're getting lots of calls about that. People are not happy.
A lot of people stream.
Yeah, and so we're waiting for them. It's on their end because our streaming is just fine. I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. This is annoying.
Wendy went in the car this morning to listen. I said, you got to get back to work.
Got to get back to work. There
no, leave Wendy alone. She knows what to do.
That's right. Well, it is a bit chilly out there.
But Wendy can get us on her radio. So
yeah, there you go. So, hey, listen, it's the Our Town segment this morning, and it's always fun. Paul normally does it on Wednesday, but due to other things, we had this opening, so we moved it till Thursday of this week, this month, and we're looking forward to this, Paul.
Me too. Actually, I always say it's my favorite Wednesday of the month. So I guess today's my favorite Thursday of the month is the way I'm going to have to look.
We can make it Wednesday and redo that day, though, because it wasn't that great yesterday.
Frank, you can do anything.
Okay, thank you, Taylor.
Well, it wasn't that great yesterday because I wasn't on. Thanks, Frank.
I know. It was just
a
very quiet day, and we missed you, Paul. So we're going to make up for it today.
Hey, Taylor, another one of my favorite things. What do you want? Let's give away something today.
Oh,
I like when Paul's on. Our listeners love when you're on, Paul, because things get given away.
Yeah, and so do the restaurants, right? Because we're always giving away a gift certificate to the restaurant, and we always match it with the Humane Society.
That's right, and they need it too right now because they're working on finishing up the building, and they got a little ways to go. So we're hoping to try to help in every little way we can, including people out there if you want. Besides matching funds, they do a monthly sponsorship from $10 on up. Every month you can sponsor one of the kittens or cats or dogs, and it's a wonderful way to do it, and not spending a lot of money. So what's the question for today?
All right, so first let's do the giveaway. We're going to give away a $50 gift certificate to either Yesterday's or Sylvia's.
Okay, they get their choice.
Restaurant.
Yep, they get their
and
two of our
favorite restaurants.
And Blarney
Everybody
Station,
we send there loves it.
Yeah, and Blarney as well. It's a great pub.
Stifle yourself, Ethel.
And we're going to match it with a $100 donation from Nebrasky.
Oh, aren't you wonderful? Thank you.
To the Humane Society.
Oh,
okay?
Lovely. Thank you.
Somebody doesn't have to win. They're going to get their money no matter what, but let's have a winner. Okay. We're going to do, for me, a little bit of an easy one, but in what year and who invented the modern-day bathtub?
Oh.
And now here's another question for you, Paul. Do you guys use your bathtub?
Do we use? That's a great question because we're going to talk about that today, Frank. The answer is no.
Wait a minute. Ryan, do you use your bathtub?
No, I shower.
Taylor?
No, I shower.
Same thing with me. But everybody on a house hunter wants the bathtub, wants the big bathtub.
I know.
That nobody uses.
Why would you want to have to climb? You need a ladder to get in those bathtubs.
Yeah. So we have this huge bathtub. We haven't even used.
Right.
Okay. But the interesting thing, when we built our house in Warwick, of course we have a lot of bathrooms. I'm a plumber, so we have 6 bathrooms. Okay. And on one of the bathrooms and one of the guest rooms, Eileen just wanted a shower. She said, listen, the guests are just going to shower. And we went back and forth on this for about 3 months. And my explanation, and we're going to talk about this today, that I hear from homeowners, everybody wants one bathtub in their house if they have kids, because you need a place to bathe your kids. So in the end, we put that one bathtub in the guest room. And Eileen still hates it that it's there.
Yeah, it's true because I see a lot of course, if you have kids, you need the bathtub. Some people, wash their dogs in the bathtub too.
I do.
Oh, please. And
I have a dog shower.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry about that, but I have a dog shower.
He's got a dog.
Shut
of course
up,
he
Paul.
does. Is that included in the 6 or is that 7?
No, the dog gets its own shower.
That's great. So it's pretty cool because I would rather have a shower because getting in the tub all the time, a little bit hazardous stepping over that. And it's just not, you don't feel as comfortable in the tub. You got to pull that, the shower curtain, hope the water doesn't get out. I would rather just have a plain old good shower, good sized shower would keep me very happy.
But so that's what we're going to talk about today, Frank. One of the calls we get all the time, we get it from people who are building their house or renovating. And one of the questions they ask all the time is, what plumbing fixtures do I use, or what do I put in my new house? And that's really today's our town. So Frank and Taylor, and even Ryan, if you were going to be doing an addition, or you had a chance to renovate your bathroom, how would you go about picking your plumbing fixtures, your toilets, your sink, your faucet, and what would you buy? And that's one of the biggest questions I have. So, Taylor, I'll start with you. How would you go about figuring out what bathtub to put in, what shower, or what faucet?
Well, that is a really good question because you're kind of influenced by what you see on TV. But my question is always, I just want something that works and has the right pressure, the right temperature. I don't care so much. I want a white tub. And, I like white because I can always put things around it. So I don't need the newest and the greatest and the most unique looking. I just want something that functions well. A white bathtub with a good shower head, which I love right now. And every morning I thank you, Paul, because I am in heaven with my shower now.
Yeah, I never see her anymore.
That's great. So, and it's a shower. So here's what I answer the people when they call, and this is a very popular conversation. Stick with name brands. So the name brands out there that you probably did see on TV or you see all over is Kohler, Moen, Delta, American Standard. There's a few other of them. But I do not, when our customers get a fixture from Europe, a faucet from Europe, or even go on Amazon.com, what we find is it's a good product, most likely, but it could be a bad product. But we cannot get parts for it. So we did this very large house in Rockland about 10 years ago, and the gentleman he was from Europe, ordered all his faucets from Europe. And what happened is, as they started to break down, I couldn't get parts for any of them. There were parts nowhere readily available. So my suggestion is white is great, Taylor. Neutral colors is fantastic, and stay with a name brand.
Right.
And it works well because if something breaks, we can have the parts to fix it. And Frank, I know you come from a channel background. What do you think about buying your plumbing fixtures from Home Depot or Lowe's? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, they primarily do carry just the major brands for the most part. It's a great place to go to see what the style is that you like and sort of play with them and see what's going on because they have them all on display. But sometimes, and I hear stories about that what is made for companies like Home Depot are of different quality than what a plumbing supply house would have. Is there any truth to that?
Yes, Frank, there is. Not always. I would say about 50% of the time, the great companies, say Delta Faucet, which is a big, will make a different faucet for Home Depot. Generally, that faucet is a little bit older technology or has more plastic parts in it that really, I don't disagree with plastic parts, and sometimes I don't want them. So, yes, you can get the product that's the same as I can get, but be careful that it's the proper product. That's the exact same product. And then what happens, I don't have the parts for it again.
Yeah.
So the question is, I don't have a problem at Home Depot and Lowe's. Just be careful that you're getting the exact same product.
Yeah, but how would you know, though? As a consumer, you look at it, it looks the same when you look on the outside. And I know, there are plumbing supply houses, which is where you get, I'm sure you get all your, you want the best of what's out there. So plumbing supply house is the place to go. And I was amazed because I've been in some of these plumbing stores that are specifically, that's what they do. And you can get some, it's just amazing what they have there. I mean, it's a plumbing supply shop. They have everything.
Yeah, and here's the only way I know to answer that question before we get on to the next question is the way or the way I know, if I go to Kohler.com and I put in a part number that's in the Home Depot flyer, it comes right up and tells me sold in Home Depot only. So a lot of times I can't even get the parts at my supply house. So that's how I know. So call us and ask. If you're looking to get us something at Home Depot, you want to know if it's a good product, or you want to know, we're going to put it in for you, and you want to know if it's the same product that I can sell, give me a call or go to the manufacturer's website.
And that's always been that way with companies as big as like your Home Depot. They actually sell so many of those faucets that the company will actually manufacture a special product for them because they're now very competitive against other brand names and everything else in their stores, and they sell a gazillion of these things. But they actually manufacture, not just in faucets or in plumbing, but in a lot of things, are made specifically for those chains. And sometimes the quality, like you said, they scrimp a little bit to save a little bit of bucks, and then it makes them very competitive against other home stores throughout the area.
Absolutely. And it's still going to have the warranty, but again, it's going to have different parts in it that the plumber coming to your house might not readily have available.
Sure. You're not going to send your guy you don't want to send your guy to Home Depot to go pick up a set of whatever it is inside the faucet, to repair it, because then the consumer is spending a lot.
Plumbing aisle. People, they see our shirts and they start asking us free questions. We become like the psychiatrists once we go to the Home Depot.
You always need a good expert, because I'll tell you, years ago, the people, when you would walk in these big box stores, would have all the answers for you. Nowadays, I don't know who they're hiring. But by the way, Paul, just as an aside, years ago when Home Depot got started, a lot of these other big chains went south, like Rickel and all these other companies. They went out of business. All the managers and the people that really knew the business are the ones that wound up working at those stores. So you got you used to go to Home Depot and get some great information, because these guys were like store managers. Now they're working like in the plumbing aisle or in the electrical aisle. But now over the years, those people have retired, and people that are in there just don't know their products. So I always find out you really need to know what you know before you go into the store to buy it, because sometimes you don't get the right help anymore.
Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. Question number 2, Frank and Taylor. If you're going to be building a new house or putting an addition on, what kind of heating system would you want? What would be your ideal heating system?
I would say that if you were going to do heating today, you'd want to go with some kind of a heat pump. I like forced air because I think it supplies immediate heat. I think it gives you the ability to run the heat a little bit cooler during the daytime. And then when you come home, you throw the thing on, and all of a sudden it's hot. I like something like along those lines. And if you want to talk geothermal, I just watched this old house yesterday where they were installing that. So I have some questions for you on that too.
Absolutely. So let's go over that. So here's what I tell a potential homeowner. The first thing, and what we put in many, many years ago, and it was a standard in the Northeast for 50 years, or maybe longer, was baseboard hot water, right? Which is what you have at your house right now, where you have the baseboard on the walls and the hot water goes through the pipes.
Yep. And you got to worry about it freezing and everything else if your power goes out for a couple of days. Sure.
Yeah. So the pro with that is it's not hot air. It's not a dry heat. If you have a boiler like your boiler, you can incorporate a hot water with it. You can put hot water right into the boiler, and it also stays warmer a little bit quicker, right, than hot air, because it's heating up the pipes and it gets warmer. So that's a pro. But the cons of it, exactly what you said. It could freeze. You have baseboard on the wall, and today's homeowners, they don't want that baseboard on the wall. We grew up with it. We grew up seeing those radiators in our house or in our apartments, but we don't want it. So the baseboard hot water system in the last 10 years, I haven't put a baseboard hot water system in a new house in the last 10 years, which is really interesting to me, because my first 25 years, that's all we installed. So very interesting. Another con is you can't incorporate air conditioning to a baseboard hot water system. So, which brings us to, if you want a hydronic heat, Frank, what would you pick in your house? What is the best hydronic heat, which I mean a wet heat for your house?
I would guess just a regular, furnace with a water humidifier thing on it, I would think.
Yeah, so for me, the absolute best type of heat in the house, but it's the most expensive, along with geothermal, is a radiant floor heating system. Have you ever been in a home with a radiant floor heating system, or sort of in this old house where they heat the floor up?
I have been.
With the pipes?
Yeah, Taylor had been.
Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never have, but I'll tell you, I hear such great reviews because
unbelievable.
The heat comes from the bottom, so you're heating up the space you need.
You step in your bathroom, which normally when you have tile floor is freezing.
Plus you feel warmer though, because the heat is on the ground, not stuck up on the ceiling somewhere.
And that heat heats up everything in the room. So your furniture heats up, your countertop heats up, your rug heats up. Everything in that room becomes heat. So 100% of the house is warmed up now. There's no cold spots whatsoever in the house. Okay? And so for me, the absolute best heating in the colder climates in the Northeast. But so the cons of that is you still need a boiler. It could cause the height of your floors to go up because you got to put down the pipe in the floors, and the floors need to be raised. And it's almost double the amount of a baseboard hot water system or a hot air system. And you still need a furnace to put air conditioning in.
Right.
Great, fantastic system, though. And if you're lucky enough, you can also heat your driveway with it.
Yeah, which is something that we could really use.
Just rub it in, Paul.
Just rub it in. Sidewalks, whatever you want to do. It really does help out a lot. But, the other thing, too, all right, that makes sense, though, Paul. But, a lot of times when people use heat pumps and they tie it in with their air conditioning, that heat now is coming from the ceiling for the most part, right? Because your air conditioning vents are up in the ceiling. How well does that work?
Yeah, so you're always a step up on me, Frank. So we're going to go into forced air heat, which is what you're talking about now, a hot air system, which for years has been used in the South, and in the Northeast is really the last 10 years is what we've been installing. So let's go over the pros and cons of a hot air system. Number one is it has ductwork. So you're able to put air conditioning in it very easily and for half the price because you don't have to run ductwork in the house. So now we always talk about air conditioning in your house. If you had the ductwork, all we would need to do is add an air conditioning unit like you have in the station. Okay, so that's a pro. Another pro is that it heats the house up very quickly. Okay, it turns on, the hot air blows, it heats the house up very quickly. And the price point is less than a radiant system, less than a baseboard system. Okay, so, really, really good points. But let's talk about the cons, which you just mentioned one. Number one is it cools down very quickly. As quick as it heats up, and you probably notice at the office, it cools itself down.
Yeah, when it's off.
The air.
Yep.
And it's done. It cools right down.
Yeah, and then it's it. Yeah, it's wonderful when it's on. You feel that heat, but then when it shuts off, all of a sudden, boy, the temperature just starts to drop.
Exactly. Taylor, where are you more comfortable? Are you more comfortable with the heat at the office or at home, with the baseboard heat and hot air heat? Because you guys live with both.
Well, that's a good question because it depends. Like our office here is horrible because when Frank was rebuilding it, they never put the proper insulation in. So no matter how hot it is in the rest of the station, our office is like 20
3 weeks
below
to build
zero.
a place. Cut me a break.
Yeah. At home, it's pretty comfortable, I have to say. And we have two zones.
And again, perfect, Taylor. So that's a negative of hot air heat. It's very hard, which we can do, to control the temperature in different rooms. Right? It's a little bit harder to zone it, Frank, than the baseboard hot water system.
Yeah, it is. But
we do it, and we have things to do, but it's a little bit harder to zone. So that's definitely a negative. Another negative of hot air heat is units can be noisy. The older units are very noisy, or the ductwork's noisy.
Sure.
And if you're in a station like you are, you want it to be quiet. So hot air heat can be a little bit noisy. And another negative, but can also be positive, it also moves the dust around, right? So when that turns on, you got that dust moving around.
Yeah,
right?
but it also gives you the ability to purify the air if you want to, right? With the right type of filters.
That's my pro, exactly. That's why I said that can be good or bad.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, so, and again, these are conversations that I have every single day with new homeowners or people putting on an addition. And there's a lot of choices out there, and that's why, shows like This Old House or calling us or going to our website will help everybody answer these questions. And I probably have this conversation once a week.
Yeah, so here's the deal, Paul. I was watching Ask This Old House yesterday. It's available online. You might want to check it out. Some company, I think it was out west, they were putting in a geothermal installation, and what the guy was saying that rather than doing it the conventional way, they were normally it's 20-foot long pipes, and you got to get this big rig in, and everything else has got to get done. He was doing it in 10-foot sections, and it was some kind of a vibration system to put it in. The entire cost to convert over, and they took the guy's heating system out, and they just used his existing ductwork. Somewhere around $18,000 to convert the whole house to geothermal, and it was done within a day or so using this new type of equipment that they have. They don't even have to, because they said using the old pipes, you have to leave the casing in the ground. In this case, they remove the casing, they put the pipe, they put the the tubes down there, and then they put cement around it and they encase it. Done much quicker, new type of technology. You might want to check out. It's up on their site right now, but specialty companies are the ones that do that installation, and I don't know how well it would work here in the Northeast.
So I've read about that installation, and it sounds fantastic. New technology. I'm not sure about it yet because I do not personally install geothermal.
Right.
We talked about Iceland last week, right, where they're pulling from the volcanoes underneath.
Yeah, but they were really hot under the ground. Sure.
Yeah, I think geothermal is fantastic. And again, with a geothermal system, you're going to save about 60% of energy over a baseboard hot water system or a straight hot air system. But right now, it's still a little bit pricey, the way I see it going in. But if I had my choice, I would do a hot air system with a heat pump, Frank. Okay, that is about 40% more efficient. And now you're tying your heat pump, which is still the same thing, except it's taking the heat from the air, and you're tying it to your air conditioning system, and you're saving about 40% of your energy bill. And right now, New York State for the next 4 years is giving huge rebates on installing geothermal and heat pump. So if somebody's building a new house, or even an addition that they need a new system for, which could be one of those wall units, I highly recommend a heat pump at this point. And 15 years ago, Frank, heat pumps didn't work in the Northeast because the technology was only to about 18 degrees that they worked. Now they have them down to work to minus 5 degrees. So a heat pump, for me, is the answer if I'm building a new house. I would do radiant first and a heat pump. And if you're lucky enough to be in the business, I would have both.
Hey, let me ask you a question. A lot of folks out there, like what happened to me, the air conditioning, if you have an old air conditioning system, and it's like, mine was like about 30 years old. It was done. Not only the compressor outside, but the unit up in the attic. Everything was pretty much done at that point in time. At that point, it would make sense almost to convert to a heat pump, right? An outdoor air conditioner heat pump, and then use that for the heating. Would that work?
It would absolutely make sense, especially if you're in New York State, where they're giving huge rebates right now. It's actually cheaper in New York to convert to the heat pump now. So say you have a 4-ton heat pump, and we don't have to get too technical. Right now, Orange and Rockland on that would give you about a $7,000 rebate, making it, and say the install's $8,000. It's costing you net $1,000. If you just put a regular air conditioning system in for $6,000, it's still, with no rebate, it's costing you more money. Well, so the answer is yes, a heat pump.
If somebody's got a compressor on the outside that goes bad, and they do go bad occasionally, they only last X amount of years. If somebody replaces that outdoor unit with a heat pump, which costs a couple of $1,000s more than just a plain old air conditioner, would they get those get some rebates too?
Yes, yes. Correct. It's rebatable. Absolutely. As long as you're heating, it has to be your main source of heat, and they're going to give you a large rebate. So if you turn it into your main source of heat, and the inside you remove the hot air furnace and put in a furnace that will work on heat for a heat pump, the whole thing's rebatable, and it's going to be cheaper, thousands cheaper than it would be just to do the change out. It's called the Clean Heat Program. You can find it on my website. It's an amazing, amazing program right now.
Well, and it's amazing. Not only are you going to save money, the new technology today, even to run your air conditioner and everything, uses so much less energy than they did for a unit that's 10 years old that it's worthwhile to make the switch.
Taylor, I have one for you. I'm not gonna keep you out of this. So one of my last questions on this: if you had to put a new hot water heater in, or we're building a house, what kind of hot water heater would you put in, Taylor?
Well, right now I have a new hot water heater, so I don't.
Right. Well, that's why I'm asking you guys, because Frank and Taylor, this is interesting. You had the oldest technology that I've seen in years, and that was a coil in your boiler where your boiler was heating it up,
which was never working right.
Never working right. Very inefficient. But Frank, you were nervous about me changing it, if you remember right.
I was.
He's
for lots of reasons.
About change
I just get nervous. I'm nervous right now.
Anytime there's change, he gets nervous.
That's it. Because I was kind of concerned because I knew Tyler likes to use a lot of water in a high stream, and I said, "Well, it's just not going to keep up with it."
I'm still not getting it in the kitchen. My bathroom is perfect.
Well,
but the kitchen, I don't have good pressure, and I never get enough hot water there. It's never going to change because of how far it is from where the hot water comes in.
Well, just wash the dishes in the garage. There's a sink there. You got hot water there.
That won't happen.
Frank, with your cars there, are you going to allow Taylor to put dishes in the garage?
I'm not allowed. I am not allowed.
Not in any way, shape, or form. That's never going to happen. That's right.
I'm not allowed to step foot in there.
I was going to offer to put a dishwasher in the garage, but I knew that would not happen. So I'm not offering.
Not happening.
Now, Taylor's just still got to get the dishwasher and go that way. It's the only way.
You won't let me do it. It's too expensive.
Nobody's answered our question yet.
All right, so the answer is, I would go with a gas-fired one.
Let me just mention this. So I know because I'm getting a ton of texts in here, phone calls, everything else. The streaming is down. just so everybody knows. You can stop calling and texting. It's not us. Our streaming's working fine here. It's the mainstream company that is doing it, who are not taking calls because they're probably inundated. Something happened
Probably a power failure down there is probably what it is.
I don't know what it is, but it's their fault, not ours.
All right, we
So
got
we're
that across.
working on
Here's
it.
what before we talk some more about water heaters, I want to do this. If we don't get a winner today, again, no matter what, the $100 is going to the Humane Society.
Thank you.
And you can ask the question tomorrow, the next day.
We'll have you call in once
Let's
the streaming
ask the
is
question
up.
again, because we're giving away a gift certificate to a local restaurant.
Right.
And people can have a good time. What's the question again, Paul?
Okay, the question, who invented the modern-day bathtub? And in what year for a bonus? And in what year?
His name was Ernest Tubb.
It's a great story. It's a great story. But I think with the streaming down, where not as many people are listening. So
you're saying modern day. You're not talking about like the cow trough they used to use in the Westerns to take baths in.
Yeah, I'm talking about the more
How old are
modern
you?
bathtub that we're used to. Okay. And that was a cow trough, so that wasn't a bathtub.
No.
Okay.
Well, to them it was.
Okay, well, of course, and they also had to heat their hot water over their fire.
Right.
So talking about hot water, Frank, what kind of hot water heater do you think is the best?
Yeah, I would think if you have natural gas in the area, I would say an instant gas fired one would be the way to go.
Yeah, so you're correct. So the hot water heater that I would say 95% of the people have in our area are our tank system. Like we put in your house, yours is an indirect tank or a gas-fired hot water heater. 40 or 50 natural gas hot water heaters, what we see in 95% of our customers. So what's the pro of that? It's inexpensive. It heats hot water, and we're used to them. But the con is, as you were worried about, they run out of hot water fairly easily at 50 gallons or 40 gallons of hot water. The other con is they only last 7 to 10 years. And when they do leak, they tend to do a lot of damage to people's houses, especially if they're on a floor that has living space or a garage that has a nice car in it. Okay.
You never know. Yeah. It's by the way, what is the biggest electric hot water heater you can buy these days?
Yeah. So that's another great question. You used to be able to get an 80-gallon electric tanked hot water heater, but now the federal government came out with new energy rules, and the highest we can get is a 60.
Get out of town. This becomes a problem when I have to replace the one in the other house. What do I do? Because now, obviously, the new one is it a little bit shorter than the 82-gallon one?
Well, yeah, it's a little shorter, and we do have that problem because with the new energy codes, the new hot water heaters are larger than the old ones. And a lot of times we have trouble getting a new hot water heater in the space of the old one.
Really?
But what you can, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what we do is we actually have to go out and measure, or we ask the customer to send us pictures, and, it is an issue. But with the hot water heater, Frank, you can get what they call a light commercial hot water heater now. That's an 80-gallon hot water heater. But of course, it's going to cost you more money.
Of course. Well, that's all figured into there. I guess that's the way they make their money. These ones that are only 60 gallons, are you going to notice the difference in the amount of water you get before it starts cooling down?
Absolutely, depending on the amount of people that you have in the house.
Right.
Absolutely. Out of all the hot water heaters we're going to talk about, an electric water heater has the least amount of recovery rate. So if I would have let you, one of the options we could have had, me, you, and Taylor, when we changed your hot water heater, was giving you an electric hot water heater. It would have been cheaper, but you wouldn't have ran out of hot water, and we wouldn't be talking right now. Or you would have been showering at my house.
I would do that because I love your house, and I love your shower. It fits 10. You could have a party in that shower.
Now that's the way you're having your parties now. Okay, Taylor, just wanted to know.
So you have your tanked hot water heater, which 95% of our customers have, and they only last 7 to 10 years. So that's the con.
Oh wait,
I have to tell you,
hold on a second. I got a text in from somebody who wants a guess. Then because they need to call, though, I'm just going to tell you, folk, the person who just texted, because we don't have your name.
Well, don't give the answer then.
I'm not going to give the answer. I'm just going to tell the person, hopefully they're listening on a radio, that the answer is probably correct, even though I don't know, it makes sense. But you're going to have to call 845-651-1110. So you're obviously hearing us. You answered the question. You got to call in to win the gift card.
That's a very astute observation there, Taylor. I like that. All right, so what kind? Yeah, so what is a good heater to use? Water heater.
So if I'm building a new house today, there's 2 heaters I would put in. Number one, as you mentioned, excuse me, is the on-demand hot water heater. Okay, so an on-demand hot water heater hangs on your wall. The negative about it, it only works on propane or natural gas, so you'd have to get propane or natural gas, and it never runs out of hot water. Okay, and it only works when you need hot water on demand. So when you turn it on, it turns on. So the only time that water heater is going to run is when you need hot water. I would absolutely, today, that would be my first choice of what I would put in. Have you seen them on this old house, Frank? They've been around about 20 years.
He has, but I have a question here because somebody texted in. I'm not sure what he's talking about. It's a water heater. You don't need to heat hot water. I don't know what that means.
I think he's talking about the hot water heater we're talking about right now. What do you think, Frank?
Do you think he's talking about the hot water heater right? Yeah, because
it only heats when you need hot water.
Yeah, well, see, that's a good thing because
that's on demand, right?
Yeah, on demand, pretty much. I like that because I think that you use less energy to do that. I mean, how often are we? You're taking a shower once a day. The rest of the day, that thing is just sitting there heating that water. You're not using it. That doesn't seem like it's a good use of energy.
Well, it's very inefficient. And think about that 80-gallon you have at your house in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
It sits there. It heats the 80 gallons up all day long. It continues to turn on to heat the water back up as it cools. But you're not there using it.
Don't get me started. That house. The bane of my existence.
Along with my cars, the house, my cat.
What cat?
Oh, I don't have a cat, so that's a good thing. We're good. We're good to go.
Okay. What? Hold on, wait. I want to hear about this cat, Frank. Tell me about the cat.
No, I don't have a cat.
He doesn't have it. He's allergic to cats.
I'm allergic to cats.
Otherwise,
if I did, I'd be
have
bad
10
shape.
of them.
Yeah, I'd be very nasally this morning if I had a cat.
No, I mean, that house is wonderful because it stores all his records, his cars.
But it doesn't mean that I don't want a cat wash at the house. So that's just in case somebody brings a cat over.
Yeah, very funny.
Okay, a cat wash. Okay, you know what? I've done. I've put in a bunch of dog washes, about a half dozen for people.
I would love that. Have you seen that?
A cat wash.
Have you seen that, Frank?
I did all the time. Is that something that somebody makes, or do you have to create that from scratch?
So in commercial buildings we do, like say apartment buildings, we seem to put them in apartment buildings where you can buy them and they're made already. But the one I did in my own house and other ones we've done for other customers, we actually make from scratch. It's really, really simple. I don't know if I showed you one at my house. It was in the garage, but I'll show you next time you come over. Basically, we took a shower. We made a shower pan. I raised it about a foot off the floor, enough that the dog could be raised up where I can work on it much. And, I raised it about a foot off the floor. And we put a shower head in it, a little door on it, and a hook to hold your door, to hold your dog or cat, now I'm saying cat. And we made it, and it works fantastically.
Do not wash your cat. They don't like it.
They don't like that.
You'll have scratches all over your entire body.
That's
all right.
I'm trying to get out of the tub.
Cats are like cats, so we haven't washed our cat.
Oh, cats are great.
I have a cat like Frank has a cat.
Yeah, there you go. I have an invisible cat. What? How come it doesn't freeze in the garage? The pipe though. Is your garage heated or no?
Oh, you had to ask me that, Frank.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
Here it comes. My garage floor is heated.
It is. Why would you heat the garage?
Of course
Why would you heat the
is.
garage floor?
Well,
for the cars.
Exactly, Tyler. How cold was your car when you got in this morning?
Not mine. I have a remote start, so I'm good.
Okay, but without a remote start.
Actually, it's an app.
So why would I heat my garage? Because a couple of reasons, Frank, in all honesty. Number one, I get in the car in the morning, and I keep it at 60 degrees, my garage. My car's warm. I have a shower in the garage. I like using for the dog shower. When I'm working in the garage in the winter, the garage is nice and warm. I got my workbench in there. So, believe it or not,
Makes
we put
sense.
heat, and it's not always a garage, radiant heat, but a lot of times we put unit heaters. We heat a lot of people's garages.
By the way, he has extra bedrooms because one of his daughters is on her own. The other two are in college.
Oh, there you go. I'm moving.
Yeah, exactly. My point.
The garage here, though, with the heating unit in the garage, actually, it sits around 60 degrees, pretty close to it. A day like today, it might be in the 50s in the garage because the unit is coming on to heat the house all the time, and it throws off so much residual heat that it keeps the garage kind of warm.
Yeah. So my garage, I heated the floor. It's a radiant heat floor in the garage. And so, and we just keep it 60 degrees. I've always had a heated garage. I'm just used to it. And
yeah, it's a great idea.
Wonderful. It really is to get in a nice warm car.
New construction, go ahead and roll the whole thing. You might as well. All right, so we've got some great ideas on heating, on hot water today.
And if people need to reach you, how can they get to you?
NebraskyPlumbing.com.
There you go.
Any questions you have on this, and I tell people this all the time, even if you're a listener and you're building a house somewhere out of our work area or have an addition going on, send Taylor a text, send me an email. We'll answer you. I don't mind helping.
You can text in the studio at 845-328-0886, or you can send me an email at taylor@wtbq.com. If you have questions for Paul when he's on the air, he's with us every Tuesday, and then his Our Town is once a month. You can send that in, and I'll send it over to Paul to answer on the next show.
Yeah, it's good stuff to know because, the longer you live in your home, things break down. You look at things, your bills. This is a great way to keep it going.
So before we let you go, because we're running out of time here, the guy that wrote in, we're not going to give him the prize if he's call. Right, because he's got a call.
So
correct?
We'll have to wait. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
let's leave this open. I want to give our listeners a prize, and we're mailing the check this week.
Thank you very much.
The Humane Society. So Humane Society won on this one. So we're good.
Yeah, exactly. It's a win-win.
So I'll tell you what, Paul. Why don't we do this? Give the answer to the question. We'll have another question when you come on Tuesday. We'll do it. With a different question.
All right,
so you want today's answer?
Yeah. So here, let me mention to you what the gentleman said. See if that's correct.
Go
anyway.
ahead.
Yeah.
He said John Michael Kohler.
So he's 100% right. And Taylor, you actually got it right earlier. So John Michael Kohler is the original founder of the Kohler Company in the 1800s. Okay, and Kohler is still owned by the Kohler family. His great-great-great-grandson runs it now, and it's one of the biggest privately held corporations in the country.
So we're going to get somebody from Kohler to come on when you're on, and we're going to talk about the history.
The history is amazing. They actually have a museum of plumbing at Kohler. So a little history for myself is I sat on Kohler's plumber advisory board for 6 years. So I used to go out to Kohler twice a year and meet with them on their new products. They asked plumbers around the country to sit on their plumbing board. So when they come out with a new product, Frank, they would put it in front of us.
Listen, we love you, but we're running out of time here.
They should have done.
We have to be off by 9:30 this morning.
What year was that?
1883. It was, and I just got to tell, 1883.
The first time.
He took his horse trough in his field and made it a standing bath.
See, I was right.
You were right, Taylor.
And that's where
you win, okay?
He should have called it a Kohler. It would be called a Kohler today, and then, of course, they would have sold even more. Sort of like, Ajax or Comet or all that other stuff. Anything that's like a brand name.
But we will definitely get somebody on from Kohler. I'll make that phone call, and we'll definitely get somebody on from Kohler.
All right. Sounds good.
The history is amazing.
All right, Paul.
All right, I'll let you guys run, and it's my favorite Thursday of the month.
You got it. Till next month when it's their favorite Wednesday.
Exactly.
All right, Paul.
Or every Tuesday.
Stay safe.
Always
love
makes
having
my day
you.
in the morning.
We love having you.
Mine too.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.